Lance McCarthy, the Chief Executive of Princess Alexandra Hospital, we have to start with the news about the new hospital. You must be delighted, I guess is the first word to use.
Absolutely. I'm completely delighted. So, as you know, I've been working up the schemes and for the new hospital for many years. Announcement from in end of 2019, I think it was end of September 2019, about the fact that we were going to be part of the new health infrastructure programme that subsequently got expanded out to be 40 new hospitals. A lot of work that our clinical colleagues and non-clinical colleagues have put in to develop the new hospital, develop the scheme, work through how do we want to make sure that all the right departments are located in the right places, work through how do we really maximise the benefit of technology and the use of digital through a new facility, etc. Really detailed drawings, and then COVID came along and put a bit of a hold on and a halt on that, and then obviously national finances have taken a little bit of a hit, and things slowed down for a little while. So fantastic that just 10 days or so ago, the Secretary of State announced that we would be fully funded for our preferred way forward.
You've always been positive and you've always been measured and diplomatic, but was ever a time you thought, I'm not sure this is ever going to happen?
No. No, because we desperately need a new hospital so that we can provide genuine 21st century healthcare. That has been signalled by the Care Quality Commission when they undertook their last full inspection, that they didn't believe that we would ever be able to get to their rating of outstanding in the current facilities that we're in, which is not great, but also helpful in terms of the drive for the new facility, because we've had unerring and constant support from our political colleagues, both local government and our local MPs, particularly Robert Halfon, who've been constantly driving it and understand the need for us to have a new hospital, and because we were part of the original health infrastructure programme announced back in September 2019. So always had confidence from that moment that we will get the new hospital. It's just taken a bit longer than we'd hoped for.
Can I bring you in, Hattie? Firstly, can you just identify what your role is? You're the chair, but explain exactly a little bit what that means.
So each NHS trust has a board, and the board has a chair, and I'm the person who chairs the board. So my job is effectively to make sure that Lance and his colleagues are performing effectively, to challenge and to make sure that that is working smoothly, but also ultimately responsible for the strategy of the organisation and for the governance of the organisation.
So likewise, you must, having introduced you, you must have been really pleased with the announcement.
Over the moon. Lance sent me a message and said, announcement has just happened, and it was like you were floating, really. It was great.
So from your perspective, what happens now?
So what happens now is we have to start the really hard work of actually beginning to get a spade in the ground and beginning to make sure that our plans are the right plans, are as up to date as they possibly can be, and that we can deliver the whole lot within a very tight timescale.
And again, I guess the ship has sailed in this one, but and as Lance has already detailed, why does Harlow need a new hospital? Or why do the people who use this hospital need a new hospital? And why do they need it where it is going to be?
They desperately need a new hospital because this one is almost impossible to maintain and to make sure that we're providing the best care in the best way. And it is wrongly designed for the current needs and demands. So we know, for example, that our A&E figures are not brilliant, but that's very largely because our A&E is tiny and it's almost impossible to get the right throughput of patients going through it. So those sorts of things. So for the people of Harlow, it's a massively important response. And that ignores the growth in the population. We have a new Harlow being developed just outside our boundaries.
Yes, and the population, in the last 10 years from 85,000 to 93,000 and beyond.
Way beyond.
But are you, both of you could answer, the problem, there are certain health problems that won't be solved by moving 3 miles down the road, will there?
So the location of a hospital isn't going to solve any health problems. The health problems are going to be solved by how the acute care interacts with primary care, community services, social care, and continues to develop better clinical pathways, continues to support with health prevention, continues to work with local authority, councils to support the wider determinants of ill health. That's what's going to solve the health problems. But there will always be a need, and particularly for a population of this size, to have a high quality acute hospital providing secondary care. And you can provide better care in better facilities if they are designed and for modern healthcare. So as Hattie was describing, our corridors are too thin and too narrow. You would never design a ward as we have our wards now, in terms of ensuring that we can get all the right equipment around the patient and around the bedside, and provide a high quality environment for patients to receive their care, but also importantly to recuperate in. As we developed and built the hospital over time, we built department next to department, a temporary building next to temporary building, and now a lot of patient journeys as they go through the hospital are not ideal, because the right departments for modern healthcare are not co-located with each other. There's an increasing use of technology, all of which requires you not to work in old buildings that are struggling. And most importantly, we really struggle with the electrical infrastructure, the water infrastructure, the sewage infrastructure, all of which takes a lot of time and a lot of money to make sure that we are maintaining safe environments, which is obviously fundamental for our patients, visitors, and for all of our colleagues. But that takes a lot of time and energy and money away, which we obviously wouldn't need with a new hospital.
And will it help, again, Hattie, if you can answer this question possibly, recruitment? Will it be much or easier, to recruit if you are where you are, within literally touching distance of Stansted Airport, where the infrastructure on the M11, is that going to make things a little bit easier?
So I think the most important thing is it's going to be a really nice environment to work in, and I think that's the thing that will make the most possible difference. If you wander around in the main building over there and you go down into the basement area, you can see that it's not a nice environment to spend your time in. And the great thing of the new hospital is that it will be a great environment both for our patients and for our people, and that's really important.
Again, focusing on your role, but maybe slightly drifting away. When you tweet, you're very positive about everybody here, and also when you go to the meetings, the board meetings, you try to be positive. Do you get a lot out of that? Is that a very important part of your role?
Absolutely fundamental, yeah. I came here because when I saw the job advertised, I was about to leave Bucks, where I've chaired before, and I wanted to be part of a hospital that was small and local, and I came and spent a couple of evenings just pottering around the place. And the staff were unfailingly helpful, kind and lovely. And that's why I came. And that's why those things are so important. Without those people, we couldn't provide the service that the people of Harlow deserve.
There are challenges at the moment whilst you're here, isn't there? That things with improving. When I'm not sure when CQC are going to be next. What's your plans? So actually, CQC came back into our emergency department at the end of April, and we received the report last week. We received the early indications of the report last week. I was still waiting for the final report to be published, but you'll recall that we had a formal Section 31 improvement notice around 4 concerns that they had within the department, and we've received early indication that following their most recent inspection that Section 31 improvement notice is going to be lifted, because they have confidence that the colleagues have worked extremely well and hard to ensure that they have addressed all of those 4 key concerns CQC had. So that's fantastic news for all of our patients who require urgent and emergency care. Huge credit to all of our colleagues who've worked extremely hard over the last 15 to 18 months to turn that around. And we are expecting, although not fully confirmed yet, that we will move up to requires improvement in both the safe and the well-led domains for urgent and emergency care. So a significant improvement, and credit to all colleagues who have worked really hard.
And have you done that?
How have you done that?
Yeah.
So we've done that by all of colleagues who are working across urgent emergency care, working extremely hard to work through what's the right things for the patients, patient pathways, focusing on different elements of the provision of urgent care. So we're working very differently with primary care services around our urgent treatment centre, working very differently with our acute medical colleagues in particular to provide same-day emergency care. A lot of support from digital implementation. So we've implemented a recognised national triage tool, which is electronic, which helps support early decision making at the front door. We've also put in a mini electronic health record into the emergency department called Nerve Centre, which also helps colleagues in terms of documenting patient details and then managing that effectively, and sheer hard work about working together as multidisciplinary teams.
Do you get the feel that this hospital, regardless of 40% of the clients are from Harlow, how important this hospital is to the people of Harlow, the sense of ownership? I think I said off camera that my mother worked in the 60s till my grandchildren being born here. It's really important to the people of Harlow,
It's
isn't
fundamental.
it?
So I live very close to Hemel Hempstead, and you will know that Hemel Hempstead no longer has a hospital in it. I know and understand the pain that the people of Hemel Hempstead lived through when they lost that hospital. So absolutely understand the importance of Princess Alexandra to Harlow.
And also going back to the hospital, there's going to be the nuts and bolts of infrastructure, isn't there? And things like, I think we refer to other places, Coventry, Edinburgh, where you move out of the city centre and you go to a peripheral part. Those things like bus services and things like that. Is all that within your control? Is all that part of your management, or are they going to be things that may not be within your control?
So it's not directly within our control, no, but that's why we work really closely with all of the relevant parties, including the council in particular, both Epping Forest councils and Harlow council for the new hospital. The new preferred way forward new site by the new junction of the M11 is actually within Epping Forest District Council as opposed to Harlow Council. So we've been working really closely with council colleagues and of course Essex County Council, and they're supporting us with transport infrastructure. They're supporting us with all of the transport network assessment that was undertaken around the new junction and the impact of that, and will continue to support us with new bus routes and the sustainable transport corridor that is part of the broader plans around the Gilston town as well. What's the
timeline here? When would you like to think there might be a ribbon cut, or maybe a spade and then a ribbon? Any timelines you can give me from my diary?
So we're still waiting for final detailed confirmation of the timeline of each of the individual new hospitals. So all the new hospitals are part of the National New Hospital Programme. So we will get that hopefully in the next few weeks. What was really clear by the Secretary of State's announcement was that all of the hospitals that are receiving full funding are to be built and completed by the end of 2030. We are working as hard and quickly as possible to ensure that we can start digging and start creating a new hospital as early as possible within the realms of all of our business cases being approved. So we would hope it would be a few years before then.
But you're very hopeful of a bright future for the healthcare of Harlow people and beyond.
Yep,
absolutely.